Hello, friends. All right, this is my first time to do this in the app. So I hope that the chat shows up. And I never go live natively in YouTube, so this might completely fail and I'll delete it, and that's fine. I want to talk to you today, guys. I hope you're liking the new studio. Finally got this finished. Much easier to just set something up and record with this new backdrop. When you have a perfectly white backdrop like I used to have, it takes a lot more equipment. So this is something where I'm just on my phone right now and it looks pretty good. Okay, so if this is your first time catching me live, my name is Kelsey Humphreys. I'm host and producer of The Pursuit, which is a traveling talk show on success and entrepreneurship and pursuing your dream. And I've interviewed all of these awesome people. Tony Robbins, Kathy Griffin, Dave Ramsey, Rachel Ray, Fabulous, Chalene Johnson, Gary Vee, Larry King. That's Barbara Corcoran up there and the Property Brothers. Anyways, awesome. I love what I do. It's so fun. This is my dream, having this talk show. So I am pursuing my dream right alongside you. And we are about to do the relaunch of this channel. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that, and I want to ask you for help. But first I want to talk about what I titled this video. I was just on Facebook Live a second ago. If you want to follow me on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Kelsey Humphreys. And we had a great discussion, and I was actually talking about a different tip, and then it morphed into this, and I felt like this was more valuable, so that's what I want to tell you today. So for those of you watching, next month when we relaunch the show, one of the new things we're launching is a business reality show. So I have invited 15 entrepreneurs from thanks Doug, 15 entrepreneurs from all over the US, actually all over the world. We have some international, pursuing all different kinds of goals, and we're going to track them as they try to achieve those goals, and then we're going to see, did they achieve it, did they not? So it's going to be awesome to follow the reality TV series that I have coming out. I still have my show, and I'm still doing celebrity guests. We have some amazing celebrities coming up. It's going to be awesome, so don't worry. The main show is not going away, but we are adding to it. Another thing that we're adding, so before I get to that, let me tell you about this. So those people that applied, guys, on the question, I asked them, okay, what makes you different? And let me tell you something. Everyone says the same thing. We got 30, 50 applicants, something like that. And I asked everyone this question, and most people talk about the same stuff, you guys. This is what they say. I am the most passionate hustler you'll ever meet, and no one can be more determined than me to change the world. Hi, Benet, thanks for watching. Or they'll say like, I'm going to be the next Oprah, or I'm going to change the world to be a better place with my book or my speaking or whatever. I'm going to be the next Gary Vee or whatever. Everyone says that, okay? Which means none of us are saying anything. Like, let me tell you, the secret here is that nobody gives a crap how passionate you are. They don't. I mean, you have to obviously love what you do to become an expert at it, or to become, someone that's looked up to and admired, and become an influencer in your space, and, gain followers and all that stuff. But the end of the end goal of people who, if you're trying to build a personal brand and you want to stand out, right? You get like 2 seconds to make an impression on people who are scrolling past you, or people who happen to stumble upon one of your videos or one of your albums or your single that you just put out or your comedy sketch or your first book or whatever. And you have to be able to really quickly differentiate yourself from everyone else, because there's 50,000 people or more just like you. And the way to do that is to be clear on what you give them. They don't care how much you love it. They don't care if you're going to be the next Oprah. They don't care really about any of that. What they care about is like, what do you offer? Really succinctly being able to say what you offer, or what makes you different, or why you're worth listening to. One thing I recommend is that everyone develop a hook. A hook for me, as I define it, is like a quick one-liner for someone if they were going to introduce you, like a little sneak peek on their podcast. So when someone has me on their podcast as a guest, a lot of times the hook is, Kelsey launched a traveling talk show about success and went from 0 to Tony Robbins in 18 months. Now that's interesting. That's different than Kelsey has a podcast on entrepreneurship, right? That also immediately implies the level of guests I have, the subject matter that I'm in. So that's a hook, but that's also that doesn't discuss the value, right? So a better way to say that would be like, Kelsey breaks down success for the everyday entrepreneur on her traveling talk show that went from 0 to Tony Robbins in 18 months. Okay, that immediately made it better because it talks right off the bat that I offer success strategies for the rest of us who are just at the beginning of building our business, or you're building a brick and mortar store in Iowa. You know, it's not all about startup culture. It's not all about, New York, LA, San Francisco, all that stuff. So that tells people immediately what I'm all about, the value, and it incorporates my hook, which is the 0 to Tony Robbins in 18 months sort of thing. So that's what I want to tell you guys today. If you're watching this and you think that your brand is different from the other, whatever space that you're in and you're working to become an influencer, I'm going to challenge you to go look at every single one of them, and you'll notice everybody's Instagram stream is kind of the same. Everyone's quotes that they post, everyone's about page, everyone's homepage, all this stuff, guys, looks really similar. And this is why we're relaunching next month. You will notice that things are pretty different in terms of my about video and the website and the type of content I'm putting out. All of this stuff is showing that I am very different from the other hosts in the space. Not better or worse, just different. I'm not in New York or LA. I'm in Oklahoma City. I'm a wife and a mom. Like, I'm not a multimillionaire who decided to start a talk show after already achieving their dreams. The talk show is my dream. So all of this stuff is going to be more incorporated into every video and incorporated into the channel itself and the website itself, and talking about like being there for the everyday entrepreneur who's just getting started or who is in, rural America or whatever. Those types of things set me apart. And that's why I decided, especially, let me tell you this, you guys, you will notice if you love my show that a lot more of them are coming out. Every month it seems like a new person has a traveling talk show or a Skype talk show or a success talk show or a new podcast. And the reason why is because it's getting easier and easier, which is great because that made it easy for me. Easier to get nice cameras, easier to travel with everything because lights are compact and everything's easy and simple to do. More and more people are, growing their podcasts and getting great guests. And so I realized if I'm going to stand out, I have to go all in on what makes me different. So I encourage you today, here's your exercise. If you're trying to build your brand, if you're trying to become an influencer, if you are every industry is a crowded industry, pretty much. No one has an attention span anymore. Everyone's like frazzled and overtired and overstimulated. So whatever industry you're in, if you're trying to stand out, I encourage you right now to go look at all of the people that you think stand out, the people that you think are similar to you. And just look, you'll notice all of the profile pictures are kind of the same. All of the social media headers are very similar. Even sometimes the one-liner, like the motto and the brand is really similar. So that's your challenge today. I say it with love, but a lot of us get this wrong. Like, nobody cares how passionate we are and how we're going to change the world and how we want to make the world a better place, and we really care about women, or we really care about entrepreneurs, or we really care about small business owners. Get more specific, get more detailed, hone in on the value. So I hope that this helped you today. The other thing about this live stream that I wanted to hop on was to ask you guys for some feedback, because the other new things we have launching next month, in addition to the new business reality show, we're also going to have a vlog where I have a videographer who now follows me around to the interviews, so you can kind of see how we work and how different my hustle is and what it's like, to be doing this from Oklahoma City and trying to build my dream from the ground up, just like all of you. And then there's going to be some comedy sketches and some inspirational, like film type video things that's going to be unlike anything else I've seen out there. I hope you guys like it. If not, it'll be a big fat fail, and I'll tell everyone like, hey, this failed and we're not doing it anymore. Just like the magazine. If you get my email newsletter, you know that I killed the magazine because even though people were subscribing, they weren't reading it. And it doesn't make sense for me and my team to spend hours creating this beautiful magazine that no one was reading. Even if they were downloading it and subscribing, I could tell they weren't downloading it. They were subscribing and they were opening the email, but no one was clicking to download the magazine. Bye-bye. Which was hard because it's cool to have your own magazine and I love it, but 6 months test didn't perform. So I'm here to tell you guys that I will keep it real with you when something is a big fat failure, and some of this new stuff might be, but again, I needed to zig when everyone else was zagging, and more people are joining this space of talk shows and entrepreneurship shows, and so I hope you like it. The last thing that I'm adding is Kelsey Q&A, which will be, finally, I will answer everyone's question, how do you get your guests? I know you guys want to know. That will be the very first video I do, so you don't need to comment with that, but I wanted to ask you guys for more questions. So these kinds of questions can be what I have noticed and learned in my 4,000 plus hours of research of all these cool cats and interviewing them and reading their books and watching their content. So it could be like success strategies, everyday habits, daily routines, all that kind of stuff. Again, broken down for the rest of us, for what it means. How does that actually apply to your real life? Or you could ask, personal questions for me, like everyone wants to know, how do I get my guests? So that's going to be the first one I do. So let me give you an example of other stuff that I have coming up. And then I would love for you guys, if you watch this later or if you're on the live stream, to leave me comments with more questions for Kelsey Q&A that will probably come out either every week or every other week. So here's some other things that I get asked a lot. How to get motivated and stay motivated. Like, I'm always really positive and I'm always really pumped and people want to know how I keep that up. How to be insanely productive. I am doing all of this with a 4-year-old and I still am like doing laundry and doing dishes and being a wife and mom and all of that. So I get asked a lot about productivity. How to crush it on camera. How to write for large publications. How to land endorsements, because I've had endorsements for my book and my show. How to speed up your success. I went, like I said earlier, 0 to Tony Robbins in 18 months. So people want to know, how did you do that so fast? How to get over failure. How to be confident. How to get focused. A lot of us have focus problems, you guys, me included. How to create a crap ton of content. I'll probably change the title, but I put out a lot each week when you add up all of the written articles that go out and the, Instagram content and Twitter content and weekly email newsletters and the actual interviews themselves, and now adding the reality show as well. So that's something I have coming up. How to gain press. I am a journalist and my show is a media outlet, so I get pitched all the time for people who want to be on the show or publicists who want their clients to be on the show. So I'm going to tell you how to get on a show like mine, or how to land a guest spot on a podcast, or to be written about on a major publication. Talk about routines. A lot of people want to know about successful routines, successful habits, best-selling or self-publishing a best-selling book. My book, Go Solo, kind of started this whole thing because the success of my book led to me traveling, which led to me thinking, why don't I interview people while I travel? So if you haven't checked that out, it's called Go Solo, and it has sold thousands of copies, which is great for a self-published book, and I got some celebrity endorsements on that. How to balance learning versus executing, since we live in the learn, take one more webinar day and age. Recommended books, camera tips. So, Kelsey, how can I ask a question about, say that again? Oh, tips on how to get yourself out there when you're an introvert. That's great. How to get yourself out there. Thank you for that. I wrote that down. That was good. The other one I couldn't see, so say it again. I don't know why. I'm not used to this. I've never done a live stream on YouTube this way, and the comments just like bloop, and then they're gone. I don't know how to change that. If you know how to change that, tell me, because this is my first time to do a YouTube live on my phone without using a separate app. Okay, so I added that, how to get yourself out there as an introvert. And then I have speaking or income streams for influencers. So someone asked about, like, should you have a book? Should you have speaking engagements? How many income streams should you have? All that sort of thing. How to book paid speaking gigs. Writing tips. So writing tips for blogging or writing a nonfiction book like I did. Producing content for new media versus old media. So should you be trying to do TV content versus web content? Oh, you want to ask a question about your life. Okay, to ask me your question, or if you mean you want to do it personally, you can just send me a private message on Facebook. If you want it to be anonymous, you can send me a private message on Facebook. I know that you also can send messages on YouTube, but they don't work very well for me. Like, I don't get notified. So go do that on Facebook if you want it to be anonymous. I also have, what do I do to prepare for interviews? I have how to do networking that's effective, how to find a team, and tips for your first hires, or if you should outsource, how to start outsourcing, how to start creating systems and processes when you're a hot mess and you've worked by yourself for way too long and you can't even find your own files and you don't know what you're doing. How do you start creating systems and processes? And then I think that's it. Personal branding, how to stand out, like we just talked about. Okay, so that's what I have so far, you guys, and I want more of your questions, either about success and success habits, or about being on video, or about anything I can do. Okay, you want to be a public speaker, but you have a fear of public speaking. I am going to talk about this I guess I'll put down stage fright. Which other interviewers do I model myself after? I don't know if that's one to make a video about, but I can tell you, obviously I watch all of them and I've had them on my show. I mean, I've had Marie Forleo on, I've had Lewis Howes on, they're great. Tim Ferriss is a really interesting one because they're usually like an hour long, his interviews, so I get so much great insights. I will prepare, like this will be in my interview prep question, I guess, but I listen to as much as I can. So every podcast they've ever been on or every YouTube video podcast they've ever done. But primarily I just listen to interviews. I also will try and watch their most popular content or read their book. But when I listen to all of their other interviews, I hit them all. Lewis, Marie, now Tom Bilyeu has his show. I know more people are coming out with shows every day, as I said, and so I try to go watch them. I'll also watch interviews by publications, so like Business Insider or Entrepreneur or Huffington Post, they will do video interviews or podcast interviews. I'll listen to those. I think that they all influence me because they ask great questions. Oh, Chase Jarvis is another one. I also listen to him, watch his interviews. Thank you, Doug. I'm in great company. I appreciate that. They all have different styles. I think what I try and do is to make things a little more fun. So I will watch all of those and try and really think about my questions from a beginner's perspective or from a perspective of someone who is, struggling or at the beginning, or maybe they feel maybe like there aren't enough people talking about whatever. Like I try to find questions that aren't asked a lot, but especially from that perspective. And then I just try and make it a little bit more fun. So I try and think through fun things they'd want to talk about or how to make it a little bit more lighthearted or make fun of something, that I like, make fun of myself or make fun of our own industry, things like that. The reason why it's important to me is I'm an entertainer at heart, and if it's entertaining, people will watch it, and if people watch it, they learn the tactics, and that sets them up for success. But also, I think a lot of our content, guys, in the entrepreneurship space, pursuing your dreams, building a business, is really heavy. It's really serious, and really, I'm trying to make things shorter. Things are really long and serious, and that turns people away. Like, people get overwhelmed, they feel like there's no way I could ever do it, and then they bail on their dreams and their goals. And I do not want that to happen. So I try to keep things a little lighter, a little more fun, because then people, hopefully, who might be intimidated by some of the other more serious content and might actually glean these lessons and actually learn the lessons and get that information that they wouldn't have gotten before because they are scared off by how, serious and heavy is the only way I can describe it. Not to say the other shows aren't fun. I mean, I watch them all and I'm big fans. That's why I have them all on my show as guests, because they're awesome. I just try and find my own spin on it. Try and find my own style. So I hope that was like a really long-winded answer to your question. Okay, so if you guys watching live have any more questions, throw them at me. Going back to your question, Benet, about public speaking and having stage fright, I do have an answer for that. And the answer there's two parts. I'll just answer real quickly, but I will go into this in detail in my actual video answer. But first, you've got to practice. I mean, you're not going to get over stage fright if you're only on stage, once every few months. You're going to have flop sweats and, nervous energy every single time. The second part about that, about getting over stage fright and learning to be more confident, is that you've got to forget about yourself. Like, I want to tell you guys, every time before an interview, I am nervous. I'm self-conscious about my own issues. Like, I worry about how white my teeth are and how overweight I am, and that my hair is usually frizzy because it's humid. And like, I think about all the other interviews and how they're more polished than me, and the other shows have more money to throw around, and all of these insecurities come out. And the only way to get over that is to forget about myself. It's not about me. It's about the viewer. It's about you guys. It's about making sure I'm asking the questions that help you. It's about making sure that I am helping the guest feel comfortable, helping the guest get their message out to the world, because I picked them because they're awesome and they have a great message. So it's about them. So the same thing with public speaking. Most people I talk to who do public speaking still get sweaty and nervous. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy them. I appreciate you saying that. Hi, Jamie. Good to see you here again. So everyone still gets nervous before speaking engagements, except for a few that do it, once a week or something, which again goes back to how do you attract people to follow on Instagram once you created great content? Okay, so promoting great content and getting the engagement after you create the content. Correct me if I'm wrong. So continuing with what I was saying, that when you get on stage, again, this is about whatever message you have to share, and it's about the people in the seats. It's about the people sitting there who paid money or who gave of their time to come to that event. That's what matters. Like every speaking event, I still get nervous, I still freak out, and then I just realize I don't matter here. I am just a messenger. Right now, no. This is my phone. I didn't have time I just wanted to do this really quick. So I am just using my iPhone, and I know that I need a microphone. So I know you guys are gonna comment and say, Kelsey, get a microphone, and I will. The microphone I bought doesn't work with my iPhone, so I'm getting a new one. But for stuff for the show, I usually use a DSLR and a better microphone. But this is just on my iPhone right now. Okay, so yes, so I hope that helps. If you're feeling stage fright, if you're feeling nervous, you have to remember that you are just the messenger in this situation. And yes, people might like your particular style of giving the message. People obviously follow you, or are interested in you, or hired you to speak, or have, shown up for you. But really, it's still, you are the messenger, and you don't matter that much. And I mean, a lot of people in the influencer space, you notice when you start to talk about them that their ego, at some point they check their ego out, because there's a million people that can give these messages. It's not about us, it's about the message, and it's about the viewer or the listener or the reader or whoever that you are creating your art or creating your business or serving, or whoever you made your products for. So I hope that helps you, Benet. Where is most of your content consumed? Facebook, YouTube, or website? Oh, cool. For me, I have the largest consumption on YouTube for sure, over 12 million minutes watched, because that's long form content. I have the best engagement on Facebook. Anytime I do anything on Facebook, like for a live stream or whatever, I will get more viewers and more comments on Facebook. I have pretty good engagement right now on Instagram, but my Instagram growth is really slow. I'm not using a bot, and right now, when we relaunch the Pursuit in June, I will have a much more concise Instagram strategy. Oh, Jeffrey, I will tell you one thing that helps is that this is a small room, and those are canvases, and there's lots of junk you guys can't see around that absorb the sound, so there's less of an echo. I am about 2 feet from my phone. My air conditioning is not on. Yeah, so just making sure you have these other factors, like make sure your computer's not making a noise, make sure your air conditioning's not running, any buzz noise you can get out. How do you manage all video content creation, and one thing I can do today to maintain consistency? The best advice for consistency really is to, and I'll put this on my list, so managing massive amounts of content and how to get into a rhythm might be a good way of saying that. Get into a rhythm of consistency. And I will go ahead and consistency. Jamie, my interviews do come out as a podcast. You can go look on iTunes or Stitcher, or whatever. It's through, any podcast service, and it's just the audio from my interviews. So it's not the video. So sometimes things don't translate as well, but I just pull the whole episode audio out and I put it out as a podcast as well. So getting into a rhythm with your content is a great topic. So I will make an entire video about that. But the quick answer to your question, since you're on here, I would say is to focus on a weekly chunk of content. To focus on one big weekly piece and then a bunch of little pieces to go with it. So if you have one weekly giant blog post or great interview or one video nugget that's 10 minutes long, then you need to think about all the little peripheral pieces, making an image for Instagram, making an image for Twitter, making a 1-minute clip for Instagram, making a teaser for Facebook, or posting it natively. Where are you going to post it native and where are you not? So those are a lot of questions that I'll cover, but most people recommend that you get started with one large piece of content a week and then a bunch of supplemental content around it. Jamie, you asked if the videos are on my website. They are. You can go to thepursuit.tv. Anthony, you're welcome. Thank you for watching on the live stream and leaving a comment. So yeah, you can watch my videos on thepursuit.tv. And I've actually, if any of you are watching that are YouTube people, I'm trying to figure out, like, right now, YouTube loves you more if you keep people on YouTube. So I haven't been pushing people to the website like podcasters, usually say, like, go to thepursuit.tv/123 for this episode or whatever. This is video and YouTube likes video. So right now I push everyone to the YouTube channel, to get my YouTube juju flowing in terms of their algorithms and get showing up and keywords and all that madness. But when we relaunch in 2 weeks, if you go to a page on the website for, say, Tony Robbins, you go to thepursuit.tv/Tony Robbins. I'm also going to have all the behind the scenes photos there now. I'm going to have the full audio transcript. I'm going to have answers to questions like, what was he like in person? How did you land that interview? What went right? What went wrong? If any of you did read the magazine, we put that out in the magazine each month. And so instead of being in the magazine, I'm actually going to put it on the website. But there will be a few things that you have to opt in for. So if you want the actual transcript, you have to opt in. And also there will be a few freemiums that go with each one, and you'll have to opt in to get the freemium. For example, when I make my video about looking great on camera, if you want to get a freemium that has much more detail and all of the, ins and outs of the camera and all that stuff, how to crush it on video, so you'd have to opt in to get the PDF that has more detail than I went into in the video. Hope that makes sense. So the Pursuit.tv is fixing to be real cool. It's going to be a huge plus with the reality TV show that's coming out. If you want to track the progress of each contestant, that's going to be on the website too. So the website's about to become really big, really more important than it has been thus far, because I've been very focused on YouTube only. All right, so those of you watching, let me know if you have more questions. If you're watching the replay of this later, I would love for you to leave a comment. I do read every YouTube comment, even the not so nice ones. I read everything. I don't respond to everyone right now because I'm overwhelmed, but I do respond a lot and I try, but I read every single thing. So guys, if you're watching this live and after we get off of here, you think of stuff, come back and leave a question. Say, I want you to talk about Gary Vee, or I want you to explain everyone's morning routine, or I want you to explain your process from going, from interview all the way to video and audio podcast and whatever, I don't know, whatever you guys want to know. I would love to have that. And then the answers are going to come out in the series called Kelsey Q&A. And so the last thing I wanted to tell you today before we hop off is something really exciting. With the business reality show coming out next month, or in like 2 weeks, we're also going to be launching a new hashtag that any of you guys who watch the show, my interviews or the reality show or any of my content, can use if you want to be featured on the show. So, for example, if you are launching your own podcast and you're documenting on Instagram how you're doing it, you're talking about your struggles, you're talking about your wins, you are blogging about it, or you're taking videos about it, you can add the hashtag and I will find you and watch people who are achieving their goals people doing interesting things in the community, and then I'll start to feature people here on the YouTube channel. Yes, Anthony, I will be on your podcast. You can email me, Kelsey@kelseyhumphreys.com, and then I will respond with a series of questions to get us set up to do that. I'd love to be on your show. Thank you. So yeah, be watching for that. If you want to be notified on how to get featured on the show, make sure that you sign up for Pursuit Nation, which is at thepursuit.tv, any of the signups. Just sign up for my top 10 success hacks. There's a thing at the top. There's a blurb on the sidebar. You'll find it. Sign up there, and then you'll be the first to know about the new hashtag, how to get featured on the show, how to get featured on the YouTube channel. And so I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be able to have a new way of engaging with all the viewers and to be able to feature you guys for who watch the show and support the show on the show. So I'm excited about that. Again, that comes out in about 2 weeks when everything drops, all the new stuff comes out. I've been working very hard. My team has been working very hard. I have new team members, and we have been hustling our faces off, and I think you guys are going to love it, and I hope so. So unless anybody else has any more questions live right now that you would like for me to answer in my new Kelsey Q&A series, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off and shoot some other video. Oh, Joanne, I love that. Joy in the journey, that is a hard one. I have to work at that, to be honest. And I have asked my guests about that. I'm typing this on my little table here. Because it's hard. If you're driven and you're focused on a big mission, a lot of times there are hard days. Am I right? So that's a great topic. I put that on my list. Thank you so much. Anybody else who has more questions they want me to answer, come back and leave a comment later. Link to apply to be featured on the show. Well, right now there's not any openings because we're launching this reality show. But if you're talking about the hashtag, just watch for that. Go to thepursuit.tv and sign up for my email list. It's right there on the homepage. It says Join Pursuit Nation. Sign up right there. You'll be the first to know. But we're going to basically have a new hashtag that anyone who's pursuing a dream can use this new hashtag, and I will be following it. Building a business from scratch and scaling it. How do you say your name? Jehoiakim? I'm going to put that down. Scaling from the beginning. That is a great question, and something I think is important to think about from people who are at the very start of their journey. So thank you for that. I wrote that down. All right, guys, I have to shoot some actual video for the show. Thank you, Anthony. I think you will love the top 10 PDF that you're going to get for subscribing, and then you will be notified as soon as we roll out all of this new stuff. You're going to be one of the first to know. So guys, I gotta go. You know that my hair and makeup is only done because I'm shooting other real video for the channel, or else I wouldn't look this nice for a live stream. So I've got to go do that. If you are in the US, I hope you enjoy your long weekend. We have a federal holiday on Monday. I hope you guys enjoy that. Please come back and leave more comments because I want to answer your questions. And if you want to learn about being featured on the show, again, sign up to join Pursuit Nation at thepursuit.tv. I love you guys here on YouTube. You make the world go round for me. If there were no show, then I wouldn't be doing this. So I'm right at 17,000 subscribers. You guys have watched over 12 million minutes of video. So I love my YouTube peeps. I read every single comment. Amanda, you are going to love it. We're coming out with so many new videos in 2 weeks. You guys are going to flip. I know it's been a while since I posted, so glad to see you here. Thanks, everyone. I'll read every single comment, so come back and add more questions for Kelsey Q&A, and I will see you soon.